Consciousness as an action. What is this thing that I call me? The headline and subheadline are actually contradictory because consciousness isn't a thing, it's an action. And yet, the you know seems like a thing. We are conscious, living, breathing beings on planet Earth. That would appear to qualify as a thing. And in those terms, you are correct. You have a beginning in birth and ending in death. You move around your house, your work, bump into other things occasionally, interact with the physical environment full of other objects, of things. So when we consider what we are, it is natural to assume that we are yet another thing. We have a body. This body follows us everywhere. It reacts to our direction. It steps, reaches, speaks for us when we wish to express. Our physical senses gather information from our environment in order for us to process, think, react. It would seem to be the sum total of what we are. We really only know what we have experienced within this lifetime. And yet, somewhere along the line, we may begin to question the limits of our existence, or lack thereof. Like, what is this sleep thing? It is certainly different than my waking state, and in dreams I generate a complete landscape full of people and places and things which do not exist physically in my waking world. I sleep, dream, and then awaken. Back to familiar territory with physics I can rely on, with a history that is unshakable. I know where I have been, with whom, what I said, what I did. I know that 2 plus 2 equals 4. I can count on everything in my waking state to adhere to certain inalienable guidelines. I pretty much know what the rules are here. But the dream state, the sleeping state, what is that? None of those rules apply. It actually is quite amazing that dreaming doesn't break our psyche. If we didn't dream every single night, it likely would. We fly, fall, perform feats that would be quite impossible in our waking world. We move from place to place, area to area, without the nuisance part of getting there. We interact with other beings that may be in conditions or expressions we don't recognize as real. They may be frightening, abusive, physically unrecognizable. We may interact with others that we would never encounter in our waking state. We do things that we would never do consciously. All bets are off in the dream state. So why do we dream? It seems to be an involuntary side effect of living. What is this state in which I seem to be disconnected from my body? Yet I'm still aware of myself as myself. I think, consider, move my dream body, speak, see, hear. Hell, I'm even surprised at times. How does one muster surprise in an environment that is completely the creation of our own imagination? And I'm doing all this without the benefit of my waking physical senses. Now, some people will claim they never dream, perhaps, but it is more likely that these people simply don't remember them. The reasons for that will vary, but everyone dreams. Lack of dreaming would result in waking insanity. That is why sleep deprivation is used as torture and abuse. So, dreaming has a purpose. It is as much a part of our existence as our waking, walking around state. And this is our first clue that maybe, just maybe, there is more going on than we are willing to admit. Maybe there is more to us than just our bodies and brains. I mean, during dreams, we are not connected to our bodies in the same way that we are when awake. You could say we're not there. Do our brains go and find us to give us dreams? That would be a trick. We've never really examined this whole subject of dreaming in much depth and without simply dismissing it as a side effect of sleep. We don't understand how the body connects with our minds. We don't really understand how it all works together in a cogent fashion. And we haven't really examined where we go when dreaming, and more importantly, what is that part of us that exists outside of our bodies? Who is this me? This is where we will begin our journey, by accepting that we really don't know how it all works. By accepting that our minds, our consciousness, is something that seems to be generated outside of our bodies, and generating a curiosity to explore what that all means. So, I exist. I exist beyond the confines of my body, and nothing happens unless I do something. How do I do something? I will it. Would I still exist if I didn't will myself to be myself? Then my existence, physical or otherwise, is dependent on action generated in my being. Thus, consciousness is an action. In our next installment, we will consider the ramifications of what that may mean.